Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our weekly webinars by RigER, a digital oilfield platform for equipment rentals and services. So today's topic is going to be dedicated to a very interesting subject that is related to how we package information or equipment before we dispatch it for a job in the oil field. So long story short, it's going to be about oilfield rental equipment combinations. Before we move into the main topic, I wanted to say that we're very proud that we've received a latest award for the Best Oilfield Equipment Rentals Cloud-Based SaaS Solution. Again, we always strive to deliver a good service and as well as a product to our customers. So it's always an honor to receive these awards and be recognized by our clients for the most part, because that's whom we work for. So thank you very much for being with us. So today's agenda and the presenter. So first things first, I would like to introduce you Arsene Ortunian, who's our CISO, Security Information Officer, as well as our software consultant at RigER Belkasoft group of companies. So he's going to be expertly talking today about the equipment combinations in the system, and the agenda is presented right here. So basically, we'll talk about the items, which is different types of items and how to set them up in RigER. And then we'll talk about different types of combinations of rental items that can be put together for different purposes in the system, because we know that everybody is a little different and every combination of equipment that is going out for rent is different and the needs are different. So for those, we have different ways of handling this unit. So let's get ahead.
All right, thank you, Nikolai. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start talking about our oil field rental equipment combinations. But before that, let's discuss the actual building blocks of the equipment that we have in our database, which is basically called items. So two things to stress: items. Anything in RigER can be considered item, first of all, if it needs to be tracked, and second, if it has the capability to generate revenue. So under items, we assume rental units, rental equipment, the services, consumables, as materials, trucks you might rent out, etc., so on. And to focus on the rental equipment part, we can have two types of those, which are obviously serialized and non-serialized. And serialized in our case will be called rental units with unit numbers, and obviously non-serialized will have no unit numbers. So on the right part of your screen right now, you see item creation card. For example, we're creating a light tower 15 kilowatts, and the type that we can choose for every single item that we create in RigER. So right now we have selected the rental unit type, and this item will be created as a rental unit, and we will be able to dispatch it later on in our system. Let's move on and talk about the serialized rental units. Obviously, if they are serialized, they have serial numbers, or unit numbers as we call them in RigER. And under each category of the rental unit, for example, light tower 20 kilowatts as selected right now, we have the rental unit name, and we have multiple, as many as you would like, unit numbers under that particular item. So we have light tower kilowatt as of right now with 16 unit numbers. And aside from the unit numbers, we have a whole lot of other information that can be added to each particular unit number. For example, we will be able, obviously, to see the status of that particular item at the real time in the database, meaning if it's deployed, if it needs repair, if it's ready to rent and available in our yards, and so on. We can see at which exact location it is, depending on whether it's deployed or in the yard. We will see the yard or the client location, the manufacturer, the serial number from the manufacturer, year, purchase history, etc., a whole lot of information that if you need it to be in the database, it will be in the database. Drilling down a bit more in the unit number card, the actual serial number card. So we have these particular fields of information that you can populate for each rental unit. So for example, right now we have LT2 20 kilowatt U006 unit number or serial number. And obviously it belongs to the rental unit, which is its parents, the light tower 20 kilowatt, and a lot of other information that can be applicable to this particular unit number is and entered in this particular screen. In this screen, we also will have the home department's information, to which exact yard of your company does this unit belong to, the repairs information, the maintenance information and history, purchase information might be available in this particular card, and so on. We can even add basically a picture of that particular unit number on the right part of the screen and just keep it in the database for the sake of the argument. So that's actually the information about the unit number, and having as much information as possible allows you in the future to utilize it in the analytics purposes, in the reporting purposes, and just basically to maintain like cost control and other, make the process more effective in other ways for your particular business. Now, switching back to the other side, the non-serialized rental units that we have. A question might come out, why would you actually need to have non-serialized rental units? Well, the case might be you have like rig mats, access mats, some parts that will actually return after the job to your yard, meaning they will not be treated or considered as consumables and will not be written off your balance, but will rather return to your particular inventory after completing the job. Those you can consider as rental units and not actually have unit numbers for them. So they are kind of limited in their flexibility. They won't have particular maintenance details, no information about exact repairs, like which exact non-serialized item was repaired and where and how. You won't have deployment or purchase history for them, and not really any other much details. But the probability of them being tracked is still on, and we are able to track them by their quantity. So maybe we deploy 5 of those to a client location. We will know that 5 of those access mats or other non-serialized unit rental units have been deployed and have been returned by the dates, etc., etc. Talking about tracking, let's just analyze a bit more and dive deeper a bit more about how the difference, what the difference is between tracking the serialized versus not serialized unit numbers, rental units, I'm sorry. So on your screen right now, you see basically a rental ticket that we are going to deploy 2 pieces of rental units to our client location. So we've got a serialized one, which is light tower, 2 serial numbers of light tower, and we've got 5 access mats, which are not serialized rental units. So on the bottom right section of your screen, on the screenshot, you see the actual unit numbers that have been selected as a base quantity, and the serial numbers for those unit numbers, for those rental units. And under that, for the access mat, we have a line that reach 1,000 each, which means basically that we have 1,000 available access mats in our main shop, as selected in the middle part of the ticket, and we are selecting 5 of those not serialized access mats to be deployed to the client location. So the difference in tracking would be serialized units will be individually tracked. We will know real time where any particular unit number is. We will have precise history about that particular unit number. On the other hand, for the non-serialized, we'll just know that 5 of those access mats have been deployed to the synergy point location of our big oil company client. So the main difference, yeah, just the non-serialized items are tracked by quantity. Let's move on and talk about combinations, because it's usually a case in the oilfield rental business that you deploy several pieces of equipment together, and you would like to consider them as one unit or as one bundle. So we have 3 different types of those bundles that will basically cover most scenarios that you would need in your business. So we've got assemblies, we've got combo units, and we have packages. Let's talk about each one of them in more detail. So assemblies. Well, first of all, what is an assembly? As the name suggests, we are going to assemble a physical unit as far as it is considered from the technical standpoint in the database. We are going to assemble a physical unit in our database. We are going to name that unit, and we are going to give it a serial number. So we, for example, right now are creating a 40 kilowatt diesel generator unit, and it has its own unit number. So we are adding our components to this particular assembly. We have the packager unit, we have engine, we have the generator, we have the master track, any particular components, any particular rental units that are going to apply for your assembly process, you can add to this list. And this will actually provide you with the ability to treat that particular assembled bundle as a single unit, as a single rental unit, attach it to your jobs, attach it into your tickets, deploy them, and return them. So what is the assembly good for? Well, first of all, when you assemble the assembly, it's going to allow you, as I said, to have it as a single rental unit. Thus, you will be able to provide it with a single price. No matter what the prices of the components are, you are going to assign a single price for that particular assembled unit, and that price is going to be the one that is going to flow into the invoice. What else? So it has several components, obviously, as many as you would like. You can have like 30, 40, 50 pieces of equipment under one assembly. And the assemblies are good for several jobs, meaning you build this list and it becomes a rental unit in your system. It's available for any job to be included in and any ticket to be deployed by. So the assembly is always going to be there standing in your database as a physical unit that you can utilize at any point in time up to the point when it gets disassembled. So as we can build our specific unit, we can also just explode it basically and return our actual components to their own places. Moving on and talking about the actual life cycle of the assembly. So as I said, we have the assembly list document in the system. It allows you to basically create that particular unit. You include the components inside that assembly list. You add a price, and it basically acts as a new rental unit in your system. You open your RSAs, you include them in the RSAs, assign a price if need be, change the price, add discounts, whatever. Generate your tickets, deploy them, return them, and you can do you can repeat this cycle from the RSA to returning to your yard as many times as you need. The assembly is going to stay there, and you will always be able to easily just pick up the unit and deploy it. Now, when the time comes for you to maybe disassemble it, or maybe you would need to replace some components, you always have the ability to, again, open up that assembly list. And by changing the type of the operation, you'll be able to just disassemble the whole unit, or maybe just to replace some components inside it. Let's move on and talk about the combo unit, another type of the bundle that we have in RigER system. Pretty much they are very close, assembly and combo unit, in the essence that they both allow you to bundle a whole lot of components inside them. But there is one thing about the combo units that is really different from the assemblies, meaning when we just create the whole assembly prior to the job. The combo unit, on the other hand, can be considered as basically a template. We create a template of a rental unit in our database. It does have a unit number. It does not have a specific serialized history, etc., etc. We have the combo unit as a template, and when the time comes, we include the components in that template in the RSA and the tickets. So we select the combo unit in our rental service agreement during the job, for the actual job. And we select the actual unit numbers that we are going to deploy inside the rental ticket for that particular job. So this makes the combo unit a job-based rental unit, basically. So just to move on and give you an idea about the life cycle, So we add the combo unit as an item in the system. So we create an item, we select the type of that item as a combo unit, as I've shown in the one of the first slides in this presentation. Then we add the components, but not specific serial numbers. So under the combo unit, as we can presume, we have, for example, let me just go back and speak a bit more. So we have this night light bundle combo unit, and inside that we have the light tower, we have the generator, and we can basically add any other rental unit under this list, and as many as we'd like. And we can also allocate revenue under this specific combo unit. So we can say that our light tower, so we have 4 light towers that we're going to deploy under this combo unit if it's selected, and they're going to allocate the 55% of revenue from the whole revenue part. And the generator that we are also attaching inside this bundle is going to be worth 45% of revenue. So we have built our combo unit as the components, but we have not added the actual unit numbers. So the next step, obviously, is going to be adding a price to that particular combo unit. So we add a price, and we treat it as a separate entity. We create our RSA, and when it comes to deploying it, we generate our rental ticket and include the actual unit numbers for that particular combo unit inside that rental ticket. So every rental unit number that we select is going to be used just for that particular job, and when we return them, they're going to be available as separate entities in our inventory. So the difference between assemblies and combo units: assemblies are good for multiple jobs for long times of periods, and combo units will be the ones that you would actually assign unit numbers for every single job. Moving on to the components management inside the combo unit. So one thing to mention out is that we have the ability to swap individual components inside the actual combo units during the job. So, for example, we have deployed our combo unit alongside with other equipment to our client location, and week later or 2 weeks later, we decide that we need to swap our light tower that we have included in that combo unit. So we don't really have a problem doing that. So we just create a couple of tickets, send the new light tower, and return the old light tower from the inside of the combo unit, and the process works seamlessly. Now, one thing to understand is if we return a combo unit component and, for example, deploy, do the swap a day later, or maybe we just return a component from inside the combo unit and leave the rest on the client location, the price of the combo unit is not going to be affected, because as far as the system is concerned, we have the combo unit as the separate entity, and the price for that separate entity is going to stay there. Now, from the tracking standpoint, we do have the ability to know that our components are being swapped, half of them are being returned, etc., etc. But the price is going to stay there. Swapping function, yeah, we track every combo unit by their components, obviously, and we have the ability to track all the components separately. And the invoice for the job can include combo unit information as just a single line, or it can actually be like exploded view, and you can see all the components inside the combo unit if you require so for your clients. Now let's move on and talk about the package, the rental package. Well, what the idea is, and why have a package if we already have the assemblies and combo units. So the package in our system will allow us not only to create a bundle of several components, several rental equipment types, but it also will allow us to include services, to bundle consumables, goods, materials, etc., inside that particular package. So there are a couple of ways to create actually packages in our system. So you can just create the package from within the rental service agreement that you are just creating, or you can just open the packages catalog and just select the create button from there and start building your package on your own. I'll just show you that in a minute. So how would you add a package into the system? You will instead of adding like a separate entity, like a separate rental unit from your normal RSA view, like clicking on the add button, you will instead click on the add package button, which will allow you to select the actual package that you are trying to add to your job. Now, this is the main reason of this is because the package is not really a physical entity in system. It's not a physical entity from the technical standpoint. It's just the alias for several different components combined into one. So let's move on to the actual package page. So right on your screen, you see a single package with its internals. So we have the East Texas FL package for January, and what we have inside it. For example, we have 3 rental units. We have a forklift, we have a light tower, we have a generator. Then if we want to add several new ones, we can just click on the add button and add several other pieces of equipment. We also have the services tab, which we can use to add services, the components tab, the parts tab. You get the idea. I mean, we can manipulate the quantities. We can add as many items to this particular package as we need. Then the very, very important thing to understand here is that the price of the package is going to be automatically calculated by the sum of each individual price inside the package. So every component which has a price inside the package is going to contribute its price towards the actual price of the package, and it's just going to be the sum of everything. If you want to manipulate the price of the package, you will not be able to directly do it because there is no place to assign a price directly to that particular package. You will have to manipulate the prices inside the package on the items or the components of the package. The life cycle of the package, how it is done, how it is created and used. So as I have already just mentioned, we just add a new package into the system. We add the components, the rental units, services, parts, consumables, etc. We must check that we have prices for the components in order for our package to have the correct price. So we have that check done, we have our package created, and the next thing to do is actually to use it in our RSN to include it in the rental tickets that we are going to use to deploy our equipment to client location. So package is, again, a virtual bundle that will allow you to basically combine together several types of items, and will give you some flexibility in the means of just being able to just create one item, virtual item, and just be able to include it, populate it with a lot of stuff and include it in your jobs for the future. Let's talk about complex combinations. Now, we do have these 3 types of combinations, these bundles that will basically cover very, very much of the field, most scenarios in the field. But still, we will always run into a situation that we will need some other complex stuff to happen. So we will talk about complex combinations, but before that, let's just sum up the difference between the 3 of those the 3 of those bundles that we have discussed. So the assemblies versus combo units versus packages. In the assembly and the combo unit have several different characteristics that are actually alike. So they both comprise of several components. They both have one set price. Assemblies are good for multi-jobs and they are easy to move, but they are kind of hard to build. Well, not hard, but it takes time. It takes a little bit of time to build them. And the combo units are basically good for one job because you remember you just select the rental units inside the rental ticket for each job. Now the components are tracked together inside the assembly, and the same components, meaning same unit numbers, are going to be used for each job. Every single time you use that particular assembly, all the unit numbers inside it are going to be the same. On the other hand, the components inside the combo unit are tracked separately, meaning they are inside the combo unit, but at any single point of time, you know, and you will have the opportunity in the reports to see particularly where each unit number was, how the state was of it, etc., etc. And the combo units will need to have different components for every single job. And talking about the packages, they will comprise not only by rental units, but also will give you the ability to include services, consumables, etc. The price of the package is going to be the sum of all the components inside it. They are going to be good for one job because you are going to select the rental unit serial numbers, etc., etc. They're going to be the components are going to be obviously tracked separately, and the different components are going to be used inside every single job. So you will have to select your components, your unit numbers inside each job. And packages are pretty much relatively easy to build. Now moving on to the complex combinations, there is quite a number of combinations that we can actually think of and create inside RigER. I'm just going to talk about just two common ones, and it will give you the idea that how you can actually manipulate your operations inside a database. So the first one on the left would be just to include the assembly type of a bundle into a combo unit. So on the top, you see our night light bundle, which is basically a combo unit. It has a light tower, it has a generator, which are rental units, separate entities. And we have the light tower with generator assembly, which is basically presented on the left bottom part of the screen with its actual unit numbers inside it. So that's one way we can combine complex and create a complex combination from other actual combined bundles. And on the right part of the screen, we have a package which includes an assembly and includes a combo unit. So we've got actually rental units, the forklift and light tower. We have our night light bundle from the left part of the screen. And again, the light tower with generator, which is from the assembly list. And if you remember, and if you can see on the left, we also have that light tower with generator inside our night bundle, which is included inside this package as a combo unit. So the complexity and the flexibility is up to you. You have the option to play around with it, understand what type of unit you need, and just to test the system and understand how it would be beneficial for you to utilize these three types of bundle. But as far as we're concerned from the technical standpoint, they are pretty much able to cover every single scenario that we have ran into as of right now, which is pretty much. I guess this is everything for this combinations and bundles that we wanted to present today, and I would like to pass the mic back to Nikolai and see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Arsen. We appreciate your time, guys. Everybody is busy these days, and you all need to be allocating time wisely. So that's why we try to compress so much in a short period of time. So yes, indeed, if you have any questions, there's a way to answer the questions. Just use the control panel, scroll, or just roll your mouse over at the bottom if you're on a Windows machine, and there's a question section. You can type them up and we'll answer them gladly in this webinar. Right now, I don't see any questions, and I think what I wanted though is just to add as a comment is that one of the typical questions is that we hear from users of RigER, and not everybody is starting using it, the combinations and complex ways of putting items together for the rental jobs at the very beginning. Sometimes it just comes at a later time. It may be very confusing, and at the very beginning, like I said, if you have the specific challenges, we need to sit down and actually consider which option is the best one for you, because it may be hard to set it up by yourselves at the very beginning, but we always are able to help. So I don't see that we can answer any of the specific questions. So like I said, if you have any ones, please do reach out to us over email or phone. We will be more than happy to answer them. Other than that, I think I'd like to thank you very much for attending our session today, and we'll look forward to connecting with you next week. So have a great the rest of the day.
Thank you and have a good day.